peace operations are really the front line of the core business of the UN, which is maintaining international peace and security. And the tasks they're given are enormous. If one looks at the mandates given to some missions, typically they're between 20 and 30 tasks. Everything from protection of civilians, restoring the rule of law, security sector reform, human rights, governance issues, securing national control over territory. Each one of these functions is really massive, and they're core governance functions, core government functions. So these operations are very complex and they're expensive, typically. So when I took over the UN peacekeeping operation in Liberia, it was almost 9 years after the Liberian peace agreement, and it was still an operation of about 10,000 people and $500 million, $500 million. So these are complex operations with almost impossible tasks. Liberia is regarded as a major peacekeeping success story because in all this time, almost 13 years now, Liberia hasn't gone back to war. So it is a good story to tell. But Liberia still has significant challenges. A few years ago, The Economist described Liberia as being at rest but not at peace. When we look at some of its core challenges, they are the failure in over a century to develop truly inclusive institutions, a truly inclusive society. That challenge is still there. Liberia's economy relies and has always relied almost entirely on the export of raw natural resources. That economic model gave rise to the expression growth without development about Liberia in the 1960s. That hasn't changed. So its population still doesn't feel the benefits of this incredible wealth that the country has. There has really not yet been an accounting for the crimes and human rights abuses committed during the conflict. So reconciliation is incomplete, transitional justice is nowhere. And a final challenge is the reform of the security sector. For now, security is provided by the UN peacekeeping operation. But what needs to happen is that Liberia's own national police assume responsibility for law and order. There's a tight deadline for this to happen now in 2016. The difficulty is that most of the population isn't yet ready to transfer their trust from the UN to the national police. So there's still major challenges ahead, despite the fact that this peacekeeping operation has been in Liberia for almost 13 years. Now, two areas that, in my view, the UN needs to concentrate on more deeply are public financial management and reform of the security sector. Problems with public financial management and corruption and poor governance often lie at the heart of the public's lack of trust in their government. We saw that during the Ebola crisis, when ordinary Liberians didn't believe that Ebola existed or thought it was a government scam for getting money from donors. The New Deal makes public financial management an explicit peace-building and state-building goal, and I think that's going to be recognized as increasingly important. Similarly, in reforming the security sector, as the UN, we've had real difficulty getting support for the type of skills training for the police that we need. When attention shifts from giving hardware, such as vehicles, computers, and so on, to training up police in skills, administrative skills, budget, human resource management, the skills you need to keep a big enterprise going in a decentralized way, it's been very difficult to get contributing countries to give the UN assets in those areas. And that's a challenge for all UN peace operations. It's so important as the leader of an operation to have your people behind you, especially when you hit a crisis, that we need to invest in developing stronger leaders as managers. The UN could also do much more to encourage leadership among women. We've seen in the past year that the UN has really fallen behind in appointing women to its most senior leadership jobs. There's a long-standing commitment to gender parity in the UN, including at senior management levels. That's going to need a tremendous push, both in terms of political will to make it happen and to supporting those women who can and want to play leadership roles within the UN, including in field missions.